say
So
something?
the green light is on.
Okay. I call this meeting to order.
Good evening, everyone. I have a junior mayor tonight, Breon Banks. She is our mayor for the day, so she's gonna be presiding over this village board meeting up until public comments. Madam Mayor.
I call this meeting to order.
We're located at the Village of Broadview.
We are located at the Village of Broadview on 2350 South 25th Avenue, Broadview, Illinois.
And I call the meeting to order at 7:30.
I call this meeting to order at 7:30.
And we're gonna say, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll call.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Roll call. Trustee Abraham. Here. Trustee Chamalave. Is absent. Trustee Senior.
Here.
Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Trustee Shelby.
Here.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller is absent. Madam President, we do have a quorum. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
All right.
Thank you all. I'll now read the Pledge of Civility. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. And now, if we will, can we have a moment of silence? Thank you. Next, item 2, public comment. Madam President.
Ms. McKay, please take the podium.
Thing on? I only had a comment for the board, is to thank you for getting to my street and resurfacing and repaving it. I really appreciate it. It makes the community look so much better. So that's all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. McKay, thank you for your comment.
So say, Ms. McKay, thank you for your comment.
Ms. McKay, thank you for your comment.
Do you wanna call up the women at Jim's?
I'd like to call up the women of GEMS.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Banks, for allowing me to come up and speak. On behalf of the Junior Gems and the Women of Gems, I just want to tell you that Junior Gems is a scale-up program. We offer several different categories, starting with service. We have the act of servicing while Young provides the youth with a sense of citizenship. Character is recognized as a required quality in successfully developing resilience and proficiency in youth. Academic achievement. Goals are most motivating when they are specific, challenging, and achievable. Leadership. The development of leaders greatly contributes to the growth of young people in their communities. And lastly, education. Learning skills and knowledge are key for every individual in our society. Striving for high achievement is commendable and prepares our youth for the future world to come. Education also includes encounters, experience beyond their four walls of a classroom, and has benefits beyond measures when embraced. Thank you for your time, Mayor, and we appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments.
So because the Junior Gems will be leaving right after public comment, so I do want to say I would like to introduce Mayor Brian Banks as our mayor for the day, and she has a few words she would like to say, and then I'll follow up with comments for Madam Mayor.
Good evening. I am Bryn Banks. I am the ambassador of the Junior Jams, and Miss Mayor Katrina Thompson invited me to this board meeting, and she inspires me because she is the first woman of color to become the mayor of Broadview, Illinois, and she has an all-female board, and I feel like that inspires me. And lets me know that my voice is heard in many communities because I see all these beautiful women that are here speaking and making decisions in the community.
So Mayor Banks, tell us what school you go to and what grade you're in.
I go to Black Hawk Elementary, and I am in 5th grade.
Thank you. So before they take off, I just want to thank the Junior Gems for completing the civic duty by attending our regular board meeting this evening during Women History Month. Women History Month is important because it celebrates women achievements, inspires future generations, raises awareness about women issues, promotes gender equality, and preserves women's stories and legacies. It serves as a reminder of progress made towards gender equality and the work that still needs to be done to create a more inclusive, equitable world. Some of the attributes that falls under this for me is recognition of women contribution. As you can tell, we have an all-female village board of trustees, so we get to create laws for the Village of Broadview. Inspiration and empowerment. My platform is to inspire every young girl, such as Junior Gems, to do a phenomenal world. Literally, the world is in your hands. You can achieve everything that you inspire to do. And then education and awareness. If you read every single day, nobody can take the knowledge away from you. So it's very important that you read every single day. And I will say this, not only do we have an all-female board, but we even have a female attorney, Tiffany Gerosi. We have our village administrator, who's a leader in the village, Miss Letisa Jones. So as we promote gender equality for all girls and women, this is the work that we should be doing. It's a platform for advocating for the rights of women, and that's what we do in the Village of Broadview every single day. And the preservation of women's stories. It helps preserve, honor stories and legacies. So this is the work that we do every day, and so I'm just honored that Mayor Banks see me as someone that she could look up to. It means a lot to me, so thank you for trusting me to lead the way for you that's creating a path that whatever you decide you want to do, just know that you can do it. Nobody can tell you no. The only person that will be holding you in the way is yourself. So just keep pressing, keep doing it, and if it's anything that my office can do for you as you go through your education up to 12th grade and college and beyond, as long as I'm in the seat, you have a friend that you can count on, and I mean that. So just know that I love you. So let's give them a round of applause. So, Ms. Tammy, we have certificates for all of the Junior Gems that participated tonight, but I have a special one for Mayor Banks. This certificate is awarded to Brianne Banks in recognition of her tenure as mayor of the Village of Broadview for the day, affirming her competence in her role. Ambassador. And then the other certificates would be certificate of participation, and this is for all the Junior Gems that's here tonight for her achievement, engagement in civic matters. She attended the Village of Broadview regular board meeting on March 4th, 2024, so all of the girls will get a certificate from my office. But Junior Gems, we're here to support the mentorship program that you all do. Keep doing a good job and keep mentoring the young girls. We need more mentorship from the adults, so let's give the parents and the caregivers a round of applause for making this happen. And so we're going to escort Mayor Banks and get on with the real business. Okay, so we're going to go this way. Thank you all for participating. Okay, we can do that. We can take it. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we're gonna take it out of order. Mr. Clerk, we're gonna take the agenda out of order for the swearing in of the lieutenant and the captain. Yep, so can you just make, so he got it.
Okay, thank you. Let the record reflect at 7:39, Trustee Miller did arrive to the meeting. And at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to suspend the regular order of the meeting and take it out of order. We got
Hold on,
some
clerk.
really important business to get to, so can I have a motion to
Wait, hold on, clerk.
suspend the
So
regular?
wait for the noise to calm down.
Give it a second.
Chief Brian or Chief Martin, can we get as many people that can come in really quick? Detective Clayton, can you leave that door open, because it's a public board meeting, we got to leave the door open. Just one of them is good, okay. All right, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask that we have a motion to suspend the regular order of the board meeting and go out of order.
I make a motion to suspend the regular order board meeting
For items.
for items A and B on the agenda.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Shelby, seconded by Trustee Senior to take the regular board meeting out of order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we will be moving to item A. Item A, a motion to authorize the promotion of Lieutenant Charles Scher to the rank of captain for the Village of Broadview Fire Department to fill vacant position as previously approved by the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Shelby, and if you guys would be so kind as to speak into your mics with your talk button so we get you on record. Thank you. Madam President?
Thank you. Chief Brian, you want to tell us about this promotion?
Greetings, Mayor, elected officials,
Good
family,
evening.
and guests. I'd like to talk about Lieutenant Charles Scher. He's the husband to Kimmy. They have 5 children together. He's baby brother to Lieutenant Steve Scher. He began his service in December 16th, 2013. He was promoted to lieutenant February 5th, 2023. He has provided outstanding supervisory skills so far, and he is currently staffed with overseeing our fleet management and vehicles maintenance. I highly recommend this promotion.
Thank you, Trustee. Thank you, Trustee Abraham. You have any questions or comments? None. Trustee Senior? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions, just congratulations on future kind of promotions. Is it possible for us to receive the write-ups about the candidate that we're promoting so that we'll have some back history on them?
Sure, we could do that. We've never done it before, but yeah, we could do that.
That's why I asked if
Thank
it's
you.
possible. Thanks.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 4-0. If I can have Captain Charles Scher join me up front for the swearing in. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. State your name. I,
Charles Scher,
having been appointed to the office of captain
having been appointed to the office of captain
in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois,
in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Broadview Fire Department
of the Broadview Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Captain Sir. All right, thank you. Next is item B. I have a motion to authorize the promotion of firefighter Alex Stevens to the rank of lieutenant for the Village of Broadview Fire Department to fill vacant positions as previously approved by the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President.
Chief Brian, you want to tell us about this promotion?
Certainly, ma'am. Firefighter Alex Stevens. He's the husband to Megan, father to one son. He began his service on August 10th, 2015. He has been an outstanding firefighter, and he's very active in our community. He volunteers to be a member of the Juneteenth Committee, and he is tasked with overseeing the operations of the ambulance operations, and he's the EMS coordinator. He serves with compassion, respect, and professionalism. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chief Brian. You forgot that he also is a part of the mental health committee that we have in the Village of Broadview. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
Congratulations.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Shelby?
Congratulations.
Trustee Miller?
No questions, just congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we
Roll
get a
call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour is absent. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 4-0. And if I can please have Lieutenant Stevens follow me up the front. They forgot to mention he makes a killer chili too. All right. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. Is this on? Okay. I, state your name,
I, Alex Stevens,
having been appointed to the office of lieutenant
having been appointed to the office of lieutenant
in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois,
in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Broadview Fire Department
of the Broadview Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Stevens.
Congratulations.
Get your whole crew up there.
Represents us. That's a great idea. Like just a short leather shirt or. Did you really? I mean, that's a great idea. Appreciate that. Thanks Better. Here now. Just like feels better.
Oh, boy. I'm glad I took that out of order because they would have been sitting here forever. Sorry.
Let's be safe.
Okay.
Oh, she didn't hear you.
Well, how are you?
Okay, we are back in session. Let the record reflect that at 7:50 p.m., Trustee Armour arrived to the meeting, and I'll entertain a motion to reconvene in regular order now.
Motion to reconvene the regular order of business.
And I second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Shelby, to reconvene the regular board meeting in the order that we had it at first on the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are now on item 4, communications. I have a couple here, and I want to personally thank a handful of people here. A few weeks back, we laid my mother-in-law to rest, and on behalf of the Rogel family, I'd like to, first of all, thank Mayor Thompson for representing the Village of Broadview at her services, and the department heads that were there and the staff, Ms. Jones, Chief Bryant, Chief Mills, Commissioner Upshaw, and Director Ames. And I want to give a special shout out to Chief Mills and his staff on the wonderful job that they did in helping to facilitate the traffic and the procession to the, thank you, to the cemetery. That was very professional, it was very helpful, and much appreciated. So thank you all on behalf of the Rogel family. Next, 211 Metro Chicago, connecting Chicago and suburban Cook County residents to the help they need when they need. Need help and don't know where to turn? Dial 211 or 773-362-4401. There's a text zip code to 898-211. For more information on the resources and categories of information that they will help you on, I will have a copy of these flyers in the clerk's office. Contact the clerk. Next, International Women's Day, Saturday, March 16th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is a free event, and it's open to the public. This will be held over at the Roosevelt Middle School, 2500 Oak Street in Bellwood. For International Women's Day 2024 and beyond, let's inspire inclusion. Next, announcing our 2024 scholarships. Since 2002, the ILBCF has given over $1.5 million in scholarships. Applications accepted March 1st through May 31st. ilbcf.org/scholarships for more information. Next, the 2024 Juneteenth Committee has started our organizational meetings. After our third meeting now, we have moved forward and are in the midst of another wonderful event. Mark your calendars for June 14th through June 16th for this year's events. We are thrilled to announce that we've been planning for the 4th annual, and this year we're going to be celebrating the theme African Americans and the Arts. Please stay tuned at these board meetings and other social media for updates on our wonderful Juneteenth event. Lastly, today, March 4th, 2024, starts early voting for the presidential primary election, and early voting goes through March 18th, 2024. Election day is actually Tuesday, March 19th. Broadview residents, you can early vote over at Bellwood Village Hall, 3200 West Washington Boulevard in Bellwood, or over at the Maybrook Courthouse, Whitcomb Building, room 104, at 1311 Maybrook Square in Maywood. Madam President, that concludes communications for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I want to add one thing. With
Yes,
the acronym ILBCF is the Illinois Black Caucus Foundation that supports children or young high school students graduating from high school to give them opportunity to. So I'm encouraging everyone that has a high school student in the 4th Senate District, in the 7th District of House of Representatives to apply for the scholarship.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, moving on to item 5, consideration to approve the following minutes, and I'm going to ask at this time that we table these minutes since they will not be ready until the next board meeting. These are the minutes from the February 5th, 2024 regular board meeting.
Motion to table.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour to table, and this is going to be until the next meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are tabling these until the next meeting. Next item 6, Consideration to approve expenditures. Grand total of all funds, $244,901.51 for the period ending February 14th, 2024.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Shelby, the Finance Chairwoman of the Finance Committee, will you please read the warrant list from February 14th, 2024?
Oh, yes, Mayor. Okay, the vendors. Ameritex Service Incorporated, $5,888. AT&T in the amount of $2,535.06. Baker Tilly US LLP, $16,000. CDS Office Technologies, $8,514.95. Ciober Group, $11,660.13. Citywide Facility Solutions of Illinois, $2,935.28. ComEd in the amount of $5,592.19. Core and Main LP in the amount of $23,481.58. Edwin Hancock Engineering Company, $28,612. Geno's Heating and Plumbing Incorporated, $40,618.40. H&H Electric Company, $6,034.07. James Q. Brenwald in the amount of $3,150. Midwest Fence Corporation, $15,606. Montana and Welch LLC in the amount of $3,221.25. Ray O'Haron Company Incorporated, $2,722.53. Rush Truck Center, Chicago, in the amount of $6,309.96. Seven Generations Ahead, $19,023. The total expenditures over $2,500 came to $201,904.40, which is 82% of our total expenditures in the amount of $244,901.51. We had an electronic payment, and the vendor was Chase Credit Card. The payments reflecting as of January the 25th, 2024, in the amount of $14,571.58. We also had Waterworth, which was paid on February the 14th, 2024, in the amount of $9,350. The total of the electronic payments came to $23,921.58. The following accounts that were affected by these expenditures: we have the general fund account in the amount of $129,446.96. We have the motor fuel tax fund in the amount of $14,717.19. The Roosevelt Road TIF fund in the amount of $20,403.88. The 17th Avenue TIF North in the amount of $243.75. The 19th Street TIF in the amount of $487.50. And we have the Capital Projects Fund in the amount of $15,606. And the Water and Sewage Fund in the amount of $63,996.23, again for a grand total of $244,901.51. And Madam Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
You can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chabalala is absent. Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next, this is the second set of bills. Grand total of all funds, $881,426.58 for the period ending February 28th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Trustee Shelby, Finance Chairperson, will you please read the warrant list from February 28th, 2024?
Yes, Mayor. The vendors, L. Warren Oral Company Incorporated, in the amount of $21,775.96. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, $129,503.87. Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency in the amount of $376,232.61. Carla Summerlin in the amount of $2,500. Ciober Group in the amount of $14,128.55. Citywide Facility Solutions of Illinois, $3,075. Comcast Business in the amount of $4,616.89. ComEd, $3,344.25. David Olmsby Incorporated, $3,000. Delgado Law Group LLC, $7,215. Door Systems in the amount of $21,385. Edwin Hancock Engineering Company in the amount of $18,420. Flock Group Incorporated, $3,875. Geno's Heating and Plumbing Incorporated, $78,363.10. Joseph L. Ponsetto in the amount of $4,290. Landmark Sign Group in the amount of $25,696.96. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $5,442.88. Midwest 911 Incorporated, $20,567.59. Pampered Princess Spa in the amount of $30,000. Patino's Music LLC in the amount of $3,015. We have PKCKM LLC in the amount of $6,000. Salvador Penalosa in the amount of $15,000. SBC Waste Solutions, $44,401.20. Site One Landscape Supply in the amount of $7,176.19. The total expenditures over $2,500 came to $849,025.05, which is 96% of our total expenditures in the amount of $881,426.58. We had a manual payment, and the vendor was Proviso Municipal League. The date was February the 20th, 2024, check number 85875 in the amount of $120. The following accounts that were affected by these expenditures: you have the general fund account in the amount of $314,049.74, the garbage fund in the amount of $44,401.20, the motor fuel tax fund in the amount of $3,344.25, the Roosevelt Road TIF fund in the amount of $60,935.26, the Capital Projects Fund in the amount of $195, and the Water and Sewage Fund in the amount of $458,501.13, again for a grand total of $881,426.58. And Madam Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
I have some questions open to the finance director on this one. So he'll be giving me some answers.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Abstain.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 4-0 with one abstention.
I just want to make a note that Trustee Armour, you could have got your question answered if you asked it, but Director Hood, when you get an opportunity, no. So thank you. We've already called the roll. Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. Next item. Item 7, application for the authority to expend funds totaling $80,039.33. This is for 2 purchase orders, one for the police department and then one for public works. We'll take the one for the police department first in the amount of $68,370.53 for Apple Chevrolet. Madam President, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Chief Mills, you want to tell us about this?
It's been
PO?
properly motioned by Trustee Miller. Who was the second? Trustee Armour? Thank
Yes.
you.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, everyone in attendance. This is a purchase, unfortunately, in about the last 6 months, we totaled out 2 cars. Luckily, none of our officers were seriously hurt, but the cars were totaled, and we received insurance payments. So, of course, we are still in a severe shortage in locating cars, so we were able to locate a car. One of the cars that we did total out was a Tahoe, so we found a car to replace it. So just moving in that direction.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments? No. Trustee Senior? No. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Yes. Is the money in your budget, your 2023-2024 budget?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 5-0 to approve this first PO. Thank you all. The next PO is for the Public Works Department, Associated Technical Services in the amount of $11,668.80. Need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Who's the motion
I'm
by?
sorry.
Shelby?
Yes.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Shelby, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this PO?
Yes, good morning, Mayor, everyone in attendance.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is,
I know you've had a long day, probably.
did I say good evening?
He said
I
morning.
say good morning? Forgive me. Yeah,
Just-
well, Just kick it in. Good evening. But, right, in all seriousness, this PO put before you is a village-wide leak detection. So what we're trying to do is find out where some of this unaccounted for water is flowing.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments? Thank you. Trustee Senior? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
2 questions. Is the money in your 23-24 budget?
It is.
And is there any impact to the residents and businesses from this proposal? I think it's a great idea to see where the leakages are and how, we can be more efficient with our tax dollars paying from a water perspective. So I think this is a great idea to do, but I'm concerned about how are there any impacts to the residents or to any businesses? How is this going to work?
Well, to answer your questions, first, no, there is absolutely no impact to the residents or the businesses. And basically what they do is they use listening devices, sonar devices to hook up to different parts of a distribution system, whether it's a valve or a hydrant or a lead service line. And they try and isolate sounds, that might sound like running water that's not supposed to be running. So they kind of do it in sections, but basically there's no intrusion to any residential properties or commercial industrial properties.
Oh, so it's just the villages' water that they're going to be surveying?
That's correct. Our distribution system,
Okay.
our water distribution system, so,
Okay.
which is responsible for the water, to your point, to the residents and the businesses, so.
So what if they find something like a leakage at a business or a residence?
Well, we note it, and depending on the severity of it, we address it.
The
So-
Public Works Department will?
Well, depending on whose responsibility it is. If we find out that it is on a private main or a private service line, we will most certainly follow protocols according to the ordinance, make the owner aware that it needs to be repaired in a timely manner and assist them in that effort.
Okay, so there is subject to be some kind of financial impact to get it fixed if there was something wrong, right?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I got it now.
That's it?
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
So I noticed that we had quite a few, I guess, Geno's Plumbing payments. Will this possibly help mitigate any of the water main breaks that we've seen or had over the last few years?
Trustee Miller, well, to answer that question, no. Okay? What this is an effort to do is to make sure that we don't have any underground leaks that we're not aware of. Water main breaks and water emergencies are going to typically happen. But what I can provide for you is something that I printed off for the last 5 years, and that is the expenses in that fund account for emergency repairs. And with exception to the year that we did the lead service line replacements, they've all been within the budgeted amount of $250,000 annually. Actually, a couple of years, I think one was $144,000 and so forth and so on. But no, this is not intended to reduce any of the emergency situations that may come up. But what it will do is allow us to accurately account for the water that we're purchasing and the water that we're selling, and try and shore up that discrepancy, because right now I believe that's problematic for us. We're doing some investigation to make sure that what we're buying is closer to what we're selling. So,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome.
That's it, Trustee Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next is item 8, committee reports. These are given at every first meeting of the month, starting with our business license committee. Trustee Armour.
No report.
Thank you. Next, police and fire. Trustee Miller.
I feel like the last couple meetings have been a lot of police and fire activity. So I guess my report is always happening during the actual meeting, so I don't have anything extra to add. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee. Next is the finance committee. Trustee Shelby.
Oh, yes, we're going to have a Finance Committee meeting scheduled for March the 13th at 6 o'clock here in the Village Chambers. We will discuss updates on the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 audits, and the upcoming 2024 and 2025 budget will be provided during this meeting. The agenda will be provided to the clerk for public posting to facilitate participation.
Will do. Thank you.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee. Next is the Building and Public Property Committee. Trustee Chalmalave, who's absent. Anyone on that committee have anything in her stead? Nothing? Thank you. Water, Drainage, and Health is the next committee. Trustee Senior.
No report at this time.
Thank you, Trustee. Next is the Street, Sidewalks, and Alleys Committee. Trustee Abraham.
No report.
Thank you all. Next item, 9, old business. We have none. Moving right along to item 10, new business. And since we've already taken care of items A and B, we are now on item C. Item C is a proclamation proclaiming National School Breakfast Week as March 4th, 2024 through March 8th, 2024. Madam President, you have the floor.
Thank you. So you all know that we have 6 school districts. And so during National School Breakfast Week, this proclamation is for schools across our district that often host special events, offer themed breakfast menus, and engage in activities to encourage students to eat a healthy breakfast every day. The aim is to highlight the benefits of starting the day with a nutritious meal and to increase participation in school breakfast programs. Over at Lindop School, they serve about 129 students with breakfast every morning at the start of the school day. So the proclamation is the school breakfast program has served our nation admirably since it was permanently established in 1975, and it reaches some 14 million children across 91,000 schools and institutions in the United States each day. I'm not going to read the whole proclamation, but it is on file with the village clerk, and I will sign it at the end of the board meeting. Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
All right, thank you, Madam President. Next item, D, a resolution approving the 2024 Community Development Block Grant application.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this?
Board, this resolution, it needs to be approved and accompany the application for the grant application, for the CBGD grant application. So it's basically a resolution that has to be approved by the Board of Authority, and we submit it with the grant application to the county.
And so the grant amount is for roadway improvements for the amount of $300,000.
That's correct.
Trustee Abraham, we need a motion and a second.
A motion to approve.
Trustee Abraham, you have any questions? No, none. Trustee Senior? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No question.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave is absent. Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next item, E, a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for certain design and construction engineering services related to the 2024 MFT paving improvements project for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Read your names. I'll do second.
Thank you both. Trustee Senior made the motion, and it's been seconded by Trustee Abraham. Madam President.
Director Ames, you want to tell us about this agreement with Hancock?
Yes, ma'am. This is for design and construction engineering for street paving over in the Beverly area, as a matter of fact. So the streets would be Elizabeth and Summerdale from Sunnydale to Terry Lane. Get those confused quite a bit. But yeah, it's just a straightforward engineering agreement that we've executed countless times in the past.
Thank you. So for the design engineering fees is estimated at $41,700, and the construction engineering fee is $47,600. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
No, none.
Trustee Senior? No. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Just 2 questions. What is MFT?
Motor fuel tax.
Motor fuel tax. Okay. And then what happens if what happens to the balance once this project is done? It stays in the CBD, it stays in the account for other projects? How does that work?
That's correct. So, as a matter of fact, as it relates to how that fund account works, I will defer to our finance director, Tom Hood.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Our motor fuel tax is distributed to us on a monthly basis, and it's required to be kept in a separate account and can only be used for certain things such as street sidewalk repair. So we get this money over time, $20,000 to $30,000 a month, and when it builds up large enough, we do a project with it. So what we don't spend here will stay in that account, and we will continue to get our MFT funds on a regular basis until we build enough up in there to get do another project.
So it rolls over fiscal years?
Yeah, it can roll over fiscal years, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, there'll be years where we don't spend it because we don't have enough to do anything.
Understood.
But then we'll eventually get to it.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Done.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Tamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next item, F, a resolution authorizing and approving expenses related to the attendance of the village president at the African American Mayors Association Conference for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Miller. Madam President, your floor.
Thank you. So this is just my duties as the village president to attend conferences that's going to impact and enhance what we do every day in the Village of Broadview. So this is the African American Association, Mayors Association Conference, which will be held April 24th to April 27th in Atlanta. The total cost is $2,336.93. I'm asking the board to approve this. I'm not sure if I will be able to attend, but just in case my schedule free up, I would like to go. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No, none.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
I just want to call out that I appreciate the due diligence that our board does take. We're looking at airfare. I was like, $149 is a great deal. I know it's been a lot going on the news about some of our counterparts that may fly first class. So I'm glad to say that if you're flying for $149 first class, that might be a good deal. So
Who's flying first class?
I said counterparts, not this board.
I need to step my game up.
We can't afford it. we can't afford it, so this was a good one.
All right, Mr. Clerk, can I get a roll call?
We sure can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Tamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next, item G, the resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with Veris Training Solutions, Inc. for certain improvements to the police department's shooting range for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, who motioned? I did. See, y'all are tired. One more time. Motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President.
Thank you. So I think Lieutenant Clayton is going to tell us about this gun range.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, trustees, everyone in attendance.
Good evening.
So what we are looking to do on the police side is replace our current gun range. Our current gun range is, the last quote I got was over 30 years old. Basically, the gun range is set up to have 5 stalls in which we can train 5 officers at one time. Currently, only one of those stalls are working properly, and it is nearly impossible to find parts to replace the gun range. Even when we do find parts, what we're finding is that they aren't lasting because merely of the age of them, and it's kind of counterintuitive to continue to fix it. Also, with the implementation of the Safety Act, which went into effect in September, it is almost doubled the requirement for officers to train and be proficient, not only with their weapons, but also with the rifles. With the current range we have, they aren't even capable of training with rifles, which adds another cost for us to have to go to other locations in order to train with our rifles. Inverness is one of very few companies that actually specialize in this. Outside of that, mostly you'll find general contractors who just dabble in this area of fixing gun ranges. This is actually their specialty. They have been very responsive to us, and what we have here is, if we are able to get this approved, this will lock in the price for us for the remainder of the year. And with the cost of steel constantly fluctuating, we feel that would be a true benefit. It also allows for the shooting of rifles. So now we would no longer have to go to a third-party venue in order to train our officers. We can pretty much do everything in-house.
Thank you, Lieutenant Clayton. Did we get a motion in a second? Yes. Trustee Abraham?
Yeah, it was motion and second.
No questions.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Shelby?
Yes, were you able to, was this just one proposal? Were you able to get another proposal on this?
So yes, we looked at several different companies. Again, most of them are construction companies who contract this type of work out. What we wanted was a company that actually specialized in this, so we did get other quotes. This was a company that we found out of all the other companies we look for that literally specialize in building gun ranges inside of buildings similar to this, which we also hope would take down on the noise, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with, when we're downstairs, and this is one of the things they actually specialize in.
Okay, thank you so much.
And thank you. Before we get to Trustee Armour, no, it's not in the budget, but what it is we got $2.5 million from the state of Illinois for capital, and we put that in our capital outline. So we will be able to fund this project. Trustee Armour, do you have any questions or comments?
You just answered my question.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
Kind of similar to Trustee Shelby's question. When we get multiple quotes, is it possible for us to kind of see the comparison? I know you're saying that they're not comparable in the service that they offer, but just so that we also see the big difference in the price. Another thing, I saw that it said the offer was only valid for 45 days, and I think we kind of are past that, so I just wanted to make sure that the price wouldn't change. And then I saw delivery says 90 to 120 days. How long did they say it would take for them to actually complete the project?
So in order for them to complete the project from the point of gutting the old range, which they'd have to do, the good thing is our range already has the structure, so it already has the bones of a range, so they don't have to do that. So we're looking at a 2-week turnaround from the time they actually start to the time their actually range is ready to go.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool. Thank you. That was it.
And so, Trustee Miller, I understand the questions, but on the last page where it say record of changes, because we've been in this process a while with gun ranges with the different entities, the pricing got locked in December 28th. So as they go forward, they can, readjust the timeline once this is approved by the board, because they need the approval to move on.
Okay.
So thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
No, it's
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes,
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
not. Yeah.
Thank you, and this carries 5-0. Next item, H, consideration of an application for a business license requested by Aquarius E and S LLC, doing business as Aquarius Laundromat at 1431 West Roosevelt Road, to operate in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve? Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Abraham, Madam President.
Thank you. Commissioner Upshaw, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Board, everyone in attendance. Aquarius Laundromat, as the clerk stated, is located at 1431 Roosevelt Road. It submitted plans, and they are compliant with all village codes and ordinances, and received their final inspections, have been approved.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
no questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave is absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes,
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 5-0.
Thank you,
all.
Board.
1 second. All right. Next, we have item 11, the village clerk's report. I don't have anything to report other than, again, as mentioned earlier, we are in the middle of, I should say, we are in full swing of our Juneteenth committee meetings and planning. So stay tuned for future meetings and future updates about that. That concludes my report. Next is item 12, Village President's Report, Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, and good evening, everyone. So we are currently in the process of updating our village-wide directory, so it's been given back to the department heads to fine-tune it, to go through all of the changes that were made. So hopefully we'll have that out to you all by the end of this month. We have started our comprehensive plan, so we've had 2 community meetings regarding the environmental plan. Last week, I was down at UIC, who have partnered with us as it relates to the environmental issues, and some of the things that came out of the first meeting was very robust as they put this plan together. So I'm just asking all of the residents to participate in our environmental plan, because it's just not, we're talking about air quality, tree canopy, our water infrastructure, service lines replacement, all of this that impact us, as well as renewable energy, solar paneling, and EV charging station, which impacts the environment. So we will let you all know when the next meeting is, but we halfway through the environmental plan, and that was input that we got from the residents. We did a survey that went out to the residents to give us some feedback so that we can give it to the ones that's actually doing the research on the environment, what's best for Broadview. So they looking at it, what's Broadview, and then they looking at a regional, the comparables like size communities that's within the Proviso Township. So it's not being compared to things that's downstate, it's local, because we're talking about things that localized, like air quality and those types of things. After we finish that part, we're going to transition right into health and wellness. So we've partnered with Loyola for that conversation, as well as UIC. We've done some due diligence in the past, as we have healthy homes initiatives within the region. So we actually have a plan in place as it relates to that. So we're going to be taking some of that research that came out of that plan to incorporate it into our comprehensive plan. So I'm asking the trustees, we want your participation, we want your input, we want the residents' input, we've gotten business input, and we have the partners, the leadership, the village leadership. They have done a lot of the heavy lifting. So it's something that you want us to consider, or something that should be in the plan. Your voice is important. So it takes all of us to roll this plan out. It's just not the mayor's plan. It's a comprehensive plan that will take us to the next 20 years of where we need to be moving forward. Election is coming up, and we have some contested races. I would encourage all residents to get out and vote. Voting, when you show numbers, regardless win, lose, or draw, when you show the numbers and they know that you're voting, that puts them on alert. The 7th congressional district is a contested race. It's a contested race with border review. It's a contested race with the 1st Cook County Commissioner. And so we always lose focus on where the real issues lie. The real issues lie within local government. Even though this is a presidential primary, it's so far out of touch for us that we have to make an impact on what local look like for us. So local is our local municipal. Our local is Cook County. Our local is the state of Illinois. And it's primary races. So get out and vote for whoever you choose to vote for, but pay attention to the things that's important. I will also encourage the residents to look at the judicial candidates, because a lot of those races is contested. Signs don't vote, endorsements don't vote, but you do. Get out and go vote and make a difference what's best for the Village of Broadview as those who we want to represent us when they go to do their job, and how we hold them accountable. So pay attention. There's been a couple of candidate forums that's been taking place. Yesterday I went to one. It was a very good dialogue with the candidates that was on the panel. If you're not there, you don't get to hear it. You go and buy off what somebody else said, or name recognition because their name is on the ballot. You have to go hear what the candidates are talking about. That was the second one that we have. The real big issue right now for me is our property taxes. Proviso just went through the property tax assessment. next year, that's when we're going to see the influx of our property taxes. So I can tell you right now that the mayors in the Proviso Township, we are challenging and putting some best practices in place, because if we don't, people are going to get taxed out their homes. In Broadview, it could be me. So it's real serious that we pay attention to who we put in place for the board of review. Call the candidates, reach out to their campaigns, and ask them the hard questions. Ask the questions, how are they going to protect our interests when it comes to evaluating our property taxes? We are estimated for our taxes to go up between 33 and 56%. It's important that you all pay attention. You can't just hold me accountable when things go up. It's not the Village of Broadview. It is not even me. So I'm holding you accountable to get out there and go vote. And that means all of the Board of Trustees, the leadership that live in Broadview, please go cast your vote. If you have questions, may not have the answer, but I'll do my best. But the best person to get your questions from is the candidate that you want to support in this upcoming election. Early voting has started. It started today, and election day is on March 19th. Any seniors or disabled veteran that need a ride, call my office, 708-681-3600. You all allow me to drive a village vehicle, and it's my obligation to make sure that I can take you to go vote. And I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to take time out of my day so that you can go cast a vote. It's no excuses. None. Not for Broadview. So let's show up in numbers and do what we have to do. And that's all I have, Mr. Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. And at this time, we do have closed sessions this evening. So item 13 is closed sessions. Number 1, section 2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline of specific employees. Section 2C11, litigation against or on behalf of the village, or where the village finds that action is probable or imminent. Then number 2, possible action on items coming out of these closed sessions. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to suspend the regular board meeting and go into closed session.
Motion to suspend our regular board meeting and go into closed session. Second.
Properly motion by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham to suspend the regular board meeting and go into closed session. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalabi is absent. Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Arnold.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Thank you all. This is passed 5-0 to go into closed session. We are now hereby suspended to regular board meeting at 8:42 p.m. We will be back.
Me? Oh, okay.
Clerk.
What do you had it going? It was sweet. Short.
Okay. Can y'all hear me out there? I was about to go in, I was gonna do karaoke. Yeah, I know, we ain't live. I mean, we not live, he ain't started. We're not live. Now we're about to be.
Okay, we are now reconvening the regular board meeting at 8:54 p.m. I'd like to have a motion to reconvene.
A motion?
It's been properly motioned by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are reconvening in executive session again at in regular meeting at 8:54 p.m. Madam President, your floor.
Thank you. Before we adjourn the meeting, I do want to tell Ms. McKay, thank you for showing appreciation. We work really hard to put capital things in place village-wide. And so however it come up during that fiscal year, we try real hard to accommodate the streets that's in very disarray. So it do look good on 11th Avenue. Don't be speeding. I mean, on them roller skates, not in your car. But we appreciate, when residents come and say thank you, because that means a lot to the people that do the work, like the finance director, making sure that we can fund these projects. So I appreciate that. So thank you for. Okay. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. So there's nothing to approve out of executive session, so I'm going to call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Miller, seconded by trustee Armour to adjourn this evening's meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we are hereby adjourned at 8:56 p.m. Thank you all. Have a good evening.